Hey guys, how's it going? Ryan here with Midwest Metal Promotions, back again. And this month we have a very special guest. You may not know him, but you will after this for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Voss. How's it going?
That's not my name, goddammit.
Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, E-ROC. How's it going?
There you go. There you go. Oh, jeez. I'm doing all right, Ryan. How the heck are you?
It's cold and windy and raining, but at least it's not snowing, so can't really complain.
You know what? I will definitely take the rain over the snow any day of the week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, before we get too deep into it, which we might, first question. What was the first album, cassette, whatever physical media of music you bought with your own money, if you remember?
I want to say that it was Avenged Sevenfold City of Evil.
Nice.
I bought it at Hot Topic in the Mall of America.
Nice. Much better than mine, but that's okay. But I'm considerably older than you, so that's okay.
This is also true. I'm definitely one of the younger ones in the scene.
Well, I found most of the people that I interview on this, with the exception of a couple, are at least 10 years younger than me. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see. I'll be 24 in June.
Yeah, that's considerable. But it's not how old you are, it's how old you feel, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then second question along those lines, what was the first concert you attended?
The first concert I attended was Kiss at Summerfest in Milwaukee on their Alive 35 tour. Nice.
That's one band I have never seen.
It was a good show. Chevelle opened up for him.
Very cool.
That was an interesting choice of opener on that one. I'm like, Chevelle is opening for Kiss?
Well, I mean, pretty much everybody's opened up for Kiss, so I
mean, you got a point there.
I mean, in the early 70s, Rush opened up for Kiss, so
is that really? I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, let's get into it. So what, as a youngster, and you are still a youngster, I consider you. You're younger than my youngest kind of stepchild, so you're like really young.
Okay.
What did you see or hear that made you want to do this? Made you want to be a performer?
I mean, really, I've been performing my whole life. Like, I did theater when I started doing theater and stuff when I was like, I was like 10 or something like that, I think. But I started doing theater through a local theater company here in over in Lakeville. They're no longer around. It was called Giant Step Theater. So I started doing that, and I've been on stage doing that type of stuff. I was on stage doing that type of stuff through high school. And then I did a little bit of improv theater in college. So that, I mean, really, and I did band and choir in high school. But I didn't really get into the hip hop stuff until I met my best friend Von Sage in college. We met at the University of Wisconsin River Falls. I attended there for a year. I wanted to be a high school music director. And then I went to River Falls, and I'm like, yeah, fuck all that shit. Y'all are asking way too much. Like, they wanted you to practice like each instrument for like 5 hours a day.
I can see that. I mean,
and I'm like, ain't nobody got time for that. I pick up my guitar and play for like an hour, and I'm good.
And then you got to deal with like bassoons and French horns, and no.
Hey, I've not actually played a bassoon, but I was actually a clarinet and saxophone player for many years. I still know how to play it.
Nice.
And I love playing. I miss playing saxophone. I really do. But like, being like I said, I didn't really get into the hip hop stuff until college. And then I went to one of Von Sage's shows, And that's when I'm like, well, shit, I can do this. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of where I started as far as that goes. And that was about, I didn't start as E-ROC until 2017, actually.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But I wanted to be in a band for many years. I still do. I'd love to be in a band. It's a little easier said than done because I'm not the most talented player in the world.
Well, trust me, I've been in bands where talent was like, didn't even matter. It's all about, attitude and on stage performance and, gusto and all that stuff, you know?
I don't know. There was, yeah. Fact of the matter is, I still would like to be in a band.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I've heard you rap, and that's great. I've heard you sing. You can do that too. So I don't see any roadblocks for you, honestly. And the fact that you're only 24 freaking years old.
23 at the time this is being
23,
recorded,
23, yeah. So, and I've seen Vod say he is very good. He is very good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's my best friend.
So what other hip hop, like what were you into hip hop previous to this?
No, actually, I'm a huge metalhead.
Okay.
Like I started out when I was a kid listening to like Motley Crue and Kiss, obviously, and shit like that, 80s hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then as time went on, like in middle school, I kind of did a whole, 1, 2, skip a few, hey, deathcore.
1, 2, yeah.
And that's, I had a buddy of mine at the time who got me into bands like Chelsea Grin and Black Dahlia Murder and Cattle Decapitation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Shit like that. I still listen to some. I still listen to some of it today. Like every now and again, I'll pull up some Cattle Decapitation. So, but nowadays I listen to. I don't get me wrong. I still listen. It's a good mix between metal and like rap. So like one of my favorite bands is actually probably my favorite band right now is probably Veil of Maya.
Okay. I know the name.
They put on a great live show as well.
Awesome. So hair metal, deathcore, hip hop, odd track, but we'll run with it. I
know. I'm a clusterfuck of genres of music.
Well, I think the best people are. I mean, like I've literally known people that are like, I listen to Slayer and DRI and Pantera and like Leonard Skinner, and that's it. And I'm like, okay. I mean, do what you got to do, but okay. Like,
right.
Like even limiting it by genre, bewilders me. It's like there's so much out there. How can you not just, go and pick from wherever,
Yeah, exactly. Like people who just like only religiously listen to like country.
Mm-hmm.
I know too many people like that. They're like, everything else sucks. Everything, this isn't country. Everything else sucks. And even so, a lot of what they consider country, I find very questionable.
I would assume we're talking about the newer bro country, as I like to call it.
Yes.
Basically, misogynistic rock music with a twang, which
more or less,
I don't get. Yeah.
Like artists like Kenny Chesney or what's the big one that I'm trying to think of? Fuck it, I can't think of it.
Well, yeah, we all know who you're talking. Yeah, I mean, it's
exactly
same stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But like country people trying to be rock stars.
Right. Exactly.
You know, which is something Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash did, 40 years ago. So.
Right. But they were actually good at it. That's the thing.
Yeah. They weren't wannabes. They were fucking diehard, man.
And as far as country goes, that's if I'm gonna listen to country, I'm listening to like shit like Grand Ole Opry shit. That is country. To me, that is country.
Yeah, I will go like into the 80s, like some George Strait isn't bad. Okay. Dwight Yoakam, like that kind of stuff. But anything newer, no, God. And you know who's responsible for all that? Garth fucking Brooks. Nothing against the man, but he started that country as a rock thing. Doing the stadiums and
Garth fucking Brooks. I only know about one Garth Brooks song, and I think it's the Friends in Low Places.
That's really the only one you need to know.
The only reason I know it is because my dad's in a cover band, and they cover it all the damn time.
Well, my punk band, Strike 13, that's our set closer, and we used to pre-COVID get everybody up on stage, and we'd rock out to that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which is really cool. Hopefully we can do that again at some point.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd definitely be cool.
Well, speaking of that, how have you been handling the lockdown, not lockdown, lockdown, not lockdown thing of the past year?
It has been very annoying, although I have found my way around it. And then, because I don't know if you've been paying attention to my stuff at all. I know you like and share my shit here and there. But I've been doing like Facebook Live shows. And I was actually the first one to implement those in Minnesota as far as hip hop goes. Okay.
Yeah. I think I saw your post about it today. The memory came up with that, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool.
I saw another artist doing that, and I'm like, well, shit, I could do that.
That seems to be your general kind of attitude towards a lot of things. What that I can do that.
Well, especially when exactly. Shit, I could do that. It's not that hard. You just got to have the right equipment. Like we started out in my buddy's basement, with my phone and an iRig, and his sound system that he has. That's literally how we did it. I had a tripod, set my phone up, plugged my iRig into my phone, and ran the out into his board. And that's how we did it.
Yeah. I mean, it can be that simple. It doesn't need to be a, 5 camera full, setup. I mean, those are nice too, but it can be as simple as that.
Exactly.
But
and then I've been then periodically throughout 2022 and all the lockdown stuff, when we weren't on lockdown and the venues were actually able to open, I did have a few live shows, mainly at the Terminal Bar. That's a lot of where I've been booking because they like me over there and they like having me, and I bring in a decent crowd.
I was going to say, I'm sure they like the crowd you're bringing too. And as far as, in the actual city, that's one of the few places that's actually booking right now.
Exactly.
So,
well, it's one of the easier places to get into.
Always has been. I freaking love the Terminal.
Oh, I do. I absolutely love the Terminal. At this point, I'm booking there at least once a month. And like I said, I've tried getting into other venues, and it is so freaking hard.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm in the process of trying to get into Partwolf, and that's damn near impossible.
Yeah, I mean, as great of a venue as Partwolf is, and I love Partwolf too. Yeah, I've heard getting in there is kind of a lot of trouble.
You know, you have to have everything, and because I when I was emailing back and forth with them, I'm like, hey, you know, I'd like to book a show here, and they're like, okay, well, we need the entire lineup now. I'm like, well, that's not how I do things. You know, I get the venue first, and then I book the artists.
Yeah, get the venue, get the date, and say, and then reach out. Can you do this date? Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. I've ran into a few venues that are like that, where we're like, well, we want all the artists' information now. I'm like, well, I can't give you that because I don't have it.
Right.
And I told Partwolf that because when I emailed them back, because the date I was trying to get the date for the beginning. I was going to make Minneapolis the first date of this tour that I'm setting up. And so, Terminal Bar, I would have gotten Terminal Bar, but they had something going that night where I couldn't do it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, understandable. And so I reached out to Partwolf, and, you know, I told them, all right, well, these are the artists that I have so far that are, you know, with the tour. And that's all I can give you right now. And they haven't reached back out to me. I'm like, fuckers.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is probably why I never went into booking, because it's, you know, even
difficult.
Even pre-COVID, it was a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah,
except for places like the Terminal, where you literally call them and say, "Do you have this weekend open?" They're like, "Yeah." Okay, I'm going to do a show. Okay. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They don't care.
About how it goes. That's about how it goes at the Terminal. You know, and you know, Joe, the owner, great fucking guy. And their booking agent, John, is also a nice guy. But yeah, it is, and even like it's even harder going out of state.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
You know, because I just got a venue locked down in Colorado finally for my tour. But I didn't even get the venue. I had a buddy of mine help me out who had a connection.
And that's the other thing. It's all about who you know.
Exactly.
You know?
But I will tell you one thing about this tour is almost all of the dates I've booked on this tour, or that I have on this tour so far, I have booked myself, with the exception of a few. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah, totally. So who else is on this tour?
It is me, Von Sage, Nerd the King, and Black Justice.
Nice. How many dates so far?
We're only going a week.
Okay.
So, but we're not doing like every day we're going to be in a different state type shit.
Well, no.
It's, you know, we're doing a weekend, a couple days in the week, a weekend, come home. I'm basically doing one big loop, because we're going Omaha, Colorado Springs, and then we're going to be in Arizona for a week. And then I have one show in Arizona on the 2nd of September. And then I'm also trying to get another show while we're down there, potentially in Las Vegas, because I've got some connections up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then on the way back, we're hitting Amarillo, Texas, Wichita, Kansas, which that might get changed, because I got the same guy that helped me book Colorado Springs also has a connection in Kansas City. I'm like, I'd rather go to Kansas City. And then I'm going to potentially try to hit Sioux City, Iowa.
Okay.
On the last day.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's a nice little
loop.
Jaunt. Yeah. Well, I wish you all the best on that, because, you know, again, even the way this year's going, you never freaking know.
Well, things are looking up right now. You know, I mean, Texas just opened everything up.
Well, they're fucking Texas. They're crazy. You know, I'm surprised they didn't do that 2 years ago.
Like, follow Texas's lead. They're actually doing something right here. Like, this is like our governor is being extremely unnecessary.
In
my opinion, that's my opinion.
Yeah. All political comments are the comments of those who say them, or whatever. Yeah. So that'll be really cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely really looking forward to that.
And then again, just booking shows locally and whatnot, and
mainly just at the Terminal Bar. Yeah.
Anything coming up there?
I've got quite a few things here coming up. Actually, April 2nd.
Actually, we'll get to that at the end.
Let's save that. I know you normally save that for the end. We'll do that at the end.
We'll do it at the end. The other thing I want to talk about that you've started somewhat recently is the radio show.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's E-ROC Radio. I've been doing it every Wednesday. I was going to do it from 7 to 9, but I kept getting cut off for some reason. And then I was having internet issues on top of that, but I finally got that solved. And then, so now I'm really only going to be doing it 7 to 8:30. But that's going to be every Wednesday unless I say so. But yeah, I started that. My buddy Nerd the King, who I mentioned earlier, who's going on tour with me, he has his own little company called Armageddon Productions.
Okay.
And he does his Armageddon radio every Friday. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to do that too. And he kind of showed me how he does it. And, because it's easy. He just uses OBS and then Restream. And so he does it on like Facebook and YouTube and excuse me. And then occasionally he was doing it on Twitch for a little while too. He's been doing it for he's been doing Armageddon radio now for a little over a year now, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And I actually, the only reason I know that is because I helped him with his 1-year show that he did.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yeah. So like I said, I told him, I'm like, well, I kind of want to do that. And so, like I said, he just kind of showed me how to do it. And I got everything set up the way I need to get it set up. And now I'm just doing it. I'm hoping to get more into it with it, like I think eventually, because I get bored just sitting there for an hour and a half and just playing everybody's music, because then I'm like, okay, well, I'm running out of music to play. But and the other thing too is that with Armageddon Radio, it's mainly just hip hop that he plays. But it's all underground. It's all local. Well, it's not all local, but like when I say local, I mean like underground, unsigned artists.
Yeah.
But like with mine, I'm also trying to incorporate different genres. So like with my episode that I did last week, I played a bunch of metal and rock.
Go.
Okay, so the first show, the last show I did, I just played a lot of bands, a lot of local bands actually. I was playing some Agony Reigns, nice. And I played that Sepultura cover that Strapato did.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then I played. You ever heard of a band called Skyhaven?
I think I've heard the name, yeah, but I don't think I've heard them.
Yeah. Well, they're another instrumental band, kind of like Surrounded by Water, but they're more like pop.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I'd have to say about that.
So diversity and local, regional, underground, all good. I'm
Oh,
totally down with that. Yeah, totally.
But if anyone that's watching this wants to send their music in to get played on my radio, just send it to official E-ROC. That's official EROC, no space, no nothing, at gmail.com.
Cool. Okay. This is a fun question I like. If you could invite 4 other people to have dinner with you, dead or alive, go.
4 people. Michael Jackson.
Cool.
Freddie Mercury.
Nice.
Probably Ozzy. And I'd have to say Dimebag Darrell.
Nice. Yeah. I don't think anyone has chosen Dime yet. So that's a good pull. Yeah, that would be a fun table. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, sadly that's about all I got. Yeah, came back for that. That was awesome. So now we'll go into what do you got coming up? Where can people find you? Plug away.
All right. Time for the eternal plug.
Yes.
Well, you can find all my music on all the main platforms. I have my album out. Just look up E-ROC Mental Case. That's my album that I got out right now. It's on all major platforms. Otherwise, you can find the rest of my music on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/E-ROC22. And then as far as upcoming shows, I've got a show April 2nd at the Terminal Bar, opening up for Zeus Rebel Waters. And then I'm going down to Des Moines, Iowa on April 22nd. Doing a show at Lefties. And then that same weekend, I'm going to Texas to do a show down in Dallas at the Bomb Factory. And then May 22nd, I'm doing another show at the Terminal Bar. I'm headlining that one. And then my tour is going to be August 26th or 7th through September 5th. And I'll be hitting all the states that I mentioned earlier.
Very cool.
And then I'll have other shows in between that May show and the tour as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I almost just forgot. I just forgot one too. I just remembered. May 8th, I will be at the Caboose with my group Ice Kings.
Oh, nice. Okay. Sweet. All right. Cool. What? I'm trying to think. The only other things that I usually talk about are like favorite venues. We've kind of covered those. Any weird or unusual show stories?
I've got a few.
Well, yeah,
not so much, they're not so much weird as there are just like good fun type of things.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really had anything super weird happen to the show. Not like sorry, I got a phone call there that was coming in. I've never had anything super weird like some of the stuff that has happened on some of your other interviews that you've done. Like I was watching the one earlier. I was watching one of the ones you did earlier today. The one with Volcano.
Something. Oh yeah, volcano diving. They've got some stories.
Yeah. But I do have some fun stories. Like there was one time, funny enough, speaking of volcano diving and the Keller bar, there was one time I did a show up at the Keller bar, and I got there and I just got fucking hammered before I got on stage.
Always a good start.
Oh yeah. So I get up on stage, forget half of the words to one of my songs. And so I just start bullshitting with the crowd. I literally tell them, I'm like, I forgot the fucking words. Pulled a what's the lead singer of Steel Panther? What's his name?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, he did that. Yeah. It was one time he got hurt. It was either the lead singer of Steel Panther or Satchel, the guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
But they got on the mic. They're like, I forgot the fucking words. Oh shit. So and then on top of that night too, I was like, somebody I had people giving me drinks. I was like, somebody get me a drink on stage. Here comes the woman that booked me on the show. It was her birthday show that she put on, and she had me come perform. Here she comes with a shot of tequila. Yep. I don't drink tequila. So I'm like, well, down the hatch goes.
Yep.
And then later on that night too, I had the bartender bring me a mini pitcher of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be a good night.
We've all had those nights, yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of the reason I love performing at the Keller. Is that it's always usually a pretty good crowd, and people like to buy the artist drinks.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I have more. Well, I did a show out in Appleton in February, Wisconsin, at the LED Room. That was actually a really cool place. If you've never been there before, I recommend checking it out. It's like it's a 5-star restaurant, believe it or not, that they also do music there. And like the venue itself is really cool. It's like a nightclub type of feel.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, they also do like shows, like hip hop shows there.
Nice.
And that was just super fun. Well, I was supposed to be out there. I'm like, I forgot where I'm going with this story for a second. Brain fart.
There you go.
Anyway, I went out there to open up for a guy by the name of Insane Poetry, because he was on his Wicked Calligraphy tour.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they ended up not being the tour ended up not being able to make it due to weather conditions in Kansas and not being safe to drive. Because they got a lot of snow and they didn't take good care of their roads. So they're like, yeah, we're going to postpone that. Mm-hmm. But they still had the show, because it's like, well, they already got the venue booked, and they already had, they had a group by the name of Razor, who was part of Lyrical Snuff Productions. I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy by the name of Scum.
Doesn't sound
no,
familiar,
probably not. I'm sure you probably don't. I'm sure you don't listen to a lot of hip hop, but he's more like underground, and that's like he like like horrorcore type shit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Scum, that's his label, and he has this group called Razor that is part of his label. So they ended up headlining, and I get out there and I end up doing better than the headliners.
Yeah.
Not like they ended up wanting to work with me after I performed. I had everybody coming up to me after that show and were like, you were shy and quiet when you first walked in, didn't talk to a whole lot of people, just kind of sat in the corner. And you got up on stage and everybody's jaw just fucking dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, that's how I like to do it.
Well, even the one show that Outlaw Saint, when I was still in Outlaw Saint, did with you at Cadence,
Yep.
It's like you seem very kind of, and then you got up on stage, it's like, holy shit, okay, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Well, and then you came to that show at the Whiskey too when I was hosting with Semtex and all them.
Yeah.
And that was a good time too. I really, if anyone wants to book me to host a metal show again, I will 100% do it. That was fun. I had a great time doing that. I'm more than happy to do that again if anybody wants to do that. But I mean, I don't really have any too many more weird stories other than that. I have a lot of good time stories, like when I went up to do I went up to this festival in Cloquet called Chill Fest. I went up and did that, and I was high and drunk the whole time. It was great. Smoke pot, drink beer the whole day. It was great.
Hey, live your life, man.
But
no, and as I say, this musical community is so, I mean, there's cliques obviously, but for the most part they're very welcoming and very inviting and very and
I've noticed that, and that I'm going to make a point on that, because it's different for each scene. I'd say the metal scene is very opening and welcome. The hip hop scene is not.
Really?
No, the hip hop scene is very hard to get into here. You got to know the right people.
Gotcha.
And well, fortunately, I know the right people.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of, the one thing I noticed about a lot of hip hop artists around here is that they're very egotistical. And a lot of them don't want to work with each other. They don't want to build each other up like the people in the metal scene do.
Gotcha.
They're in it for themselves. And I don't agree with that. When I book shows, at this point, I'm not booking shows for me.
Right. It's to help out the community.
Yes, I will. Yes, I'll perform, but I'm not doing these shows for me. I'm doing these shows to help other artists get on stage. But unfortunately, in doing that as well, I've also been burned a handful of times where I've booked artists and they just didn't show up. I've booked a couple of artists. I'm not going to name names. But it was my first time ever booking them. I'd never booked them before, and they came to me and like, hey, you got anything available? I'm like, yeah, here, you can hop on this. And then they just never showed up.
Wow.
Like, all right, well, I guess I'm not booking you again.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did it to themselves.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that people do that. But yeah, and it's really sad too, because I've noticed with myself is I gain a lot more popularity when I go out of state. I'm not very popular around here, but I go out of state and everyone's like, dude, you're from Minnesota? Oh my God, you are so fucking good. Why, why this, that, why that, It's like, I gain just so much popularity when I'm not here. And it's like, it makes me want to leave here. Granted, I want to leave here anyway, because I'm so sick of the cold and the snow.
Yeah. Fair. I mean,
just a little bit warmer.
Not like, tropical, but,
Well, I'm trying to eventually move down to Arizona. I love it down there.
Yeah. I mean, outside of a couple of performers, yourself and Von Sage, and I've seen like Refresher Fresh. Other than that, I don't know jack about the local hip hop scene. So, I only know the metal scene and a little bit of like the general rock scene. But And even within that, there's like, camps.
Yeah.
But I would agree with you that the local metal scene is, from what I experienced, one of the most welcoming and one of the most, lift each other up, not tear each other down things.
Yeah. I've done, even coming in as a hip hop artist, I noticed that too. Well, and the only reason I got really into it is because James from Fix the Glitch. I actually did a show with him when he was doing his Mr. Punch gimmick, when he was, doing his hip hop stuff.
Yeah.
And I did a show with him up at the Other Side bar in Rush City. And that's how him and I met originally. And then we were on, and then I didn't see him again until we did this show at the garage when he was it was me, and that was where I met Strapato as well. Because it was me, another artist by the name of another hip hop artist. It was because it was a rap versus metal show.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
So it was me, Don the Second, and Scumboys as far as rap goes. And Scumboys were terrible. I'll say that out loud. They were flat out garbage. Even the garage was like, we will never book these guys again, because it was at the garage.
Yeah.
The biggest reason that they won't ever book them again is because they showed up late, number one. Showed up drunk.
Yeah.
Showed up on a party bus. Like, they brought a whole party bus full of people to this show. Everyone that was on the party bus came in and watched Scumboys perform, and then everybody that was with Scumboys after they performed left.
Yeah. That's not how you do it.
No, that was not okay. But then as far as the metal goes, it was Digital Homicide, Strapato, and Clazomaniac.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like there was one more, but I don't think there was. Yeah, but those are the three. It was Digital Homicide, Strapato, and Clazomaniac. Which Clazomaniac is basically just all the guys from Agony Reigns.
Yeah.
Except they're all playing different instruments.
Right. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen them. I've seen Agony Reigns a few times. I like those guys. Those are good.
They were really good.
Yeah.
They were really good. They were really loud, and I think Matt's rig had a speaker blown.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it kind of sounded like garbage, but overall they were really good. I don't remember his name, but he's the curly fro-headed kid that plays the Flying V. I don't remember his name, and I feel bad because I should. But his vocals impressed the fuck out of me.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
That dude can scream. Like, that dude has very good diaphragm control to be able to scream that well.
Nice.
I highly recommend checking them out when they actually do a show.
Yeah, when we get back to that again.
Well, even then, I think they're mainly trying to focus on Agony Reigns and not so much Clazomaniac.
Yeah, probably.
Because I mean, Agony Reigns is doing really good for themselves too.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean,
there's actually a few. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Agony Reigns just did that live stream show a couple months ago, month and a half ago.
Yeah, at the garage. Yep.
Yeah, and that was killer.
Yeah. A great group of dudes.
Oh yeah.
But there was. There's another local band around here that actually made it really big. I don't know if you've heard of them. Villain of the Story.
Again, I know the name, but I don't think I know them. Like, the name
sounds
familiar.
Another great group of dudes. They actually were really big. They've toured around with like Wage War. But yeah, they're another good band. I highly recommend. Christian and Logan, the two lead singers, are great dudes. And now they just got a new bass player, Paige, who was part of A Life All My Own before that. Which I'm sad that band broke up, because they were another great band.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's how things go.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there are a few bands that I got into, like, either right after they broke up or as they were breaking up, and I'm just like, God damn it. So I never got to see them live. I never get to, hang out with them or anything.
There was one band, I only heard one song from them, but I really liked, that was around here, called Defend the Fatherless. They played at the garage all the time back when it was also a youth, the garage was also a youth center, like an after school place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Defend the Fatherless.
No, that one does not sound familiar.
Okay. But they were really good. They had a song called Pandemonium that was really good.
Okay.
They were in one of those actually Christian metal bands that was really good.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Cool.
I don't know. You got any more questions? I think there's some other questions that you've asked other people that I don't remember what they are.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that I never write my questions down. So I don't know why I'm allowed to still do this, because I stumble through every interview I do.
Hey, I'm having a good time. That's right.
Hey, can't complain about that. I don't know. Technology is. Yeah.
Well, I think I was starting to get another phone call or something. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what that was really weird.
Okay, let's end with this.
Okay.
If you were stuck on a desert island and you could only bring 3 albums with you.
3 albums.
3 albums to listen to for the rest of your life, or as long as you're stuck on the island.
Okay. First album would probably be Lil Peep's "Come Over When You're Sober" Part 1.
Okay.
Mainly just because that Lil Peep is a big inspiration of mine. I mean, I have the dude tattooed on me, for Christ's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
He unfortunately died at a young age due to drug overdose. But yeah, he's helped me through a lot of bad places, and yeah. But the second album, this is a really hard question, Ryan. I'm trying to think of albums that I could listen to all the way through and not get tired of. Probably Veil of Maya's Matriarch album. That was a really good one. And you're killing me. That's a really hard question, because now I got to think of albums. I'm like, oh crap. Because there's very few albums that I can successfully say that I can listen to all the way through and not get tired of it.
Yeah, and that's the trick too, because I mean, especially nowadays, where we seem to live in a world of not necessarily singles, but like single songs. Like you can like go into an album and pick and choose.
Yeah.
And, not like in the old days where if the song you knew on cassette was in the middle of side 2, you had to listen to all of side 1 and then start on side 2 to get to it.
Yeah.
Those days are long gone.
Yeah. Gosh. Third album. You know what? I'm just gonna bullshit an album here, because I can't think of a third one. So I'm going to say Well, now I can't even. It's a Born of Osiris album, and I can't even remember the name of it. But we'll just say that it's this Born of Osiris album, because like I said, I'm not going to be able to remember the name of it.
Fair enough, sir.
I can see the album artwork. I just don't know what it's called.
Oh, the memory is a fun thing.
Yeah.
All right, cool. This has been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And everybody
Definitely.
go out and follow you. Facebook would be the best place to get all the stuff you're doing, I would suppose.
Yes, Facebook and Instagram are where I update the most.
Cool. And go to this man's shows and check him out and do other things, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Ryan, for having me.
Thank you, sir. And yeah, we'll talk to you hopefully soon. Hopefully I'll be able to see you in person at some point. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've got some of those shows coming up. If you ever feel like coming out to a hip hop show.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right, man. Talk to you later.
Definitely.
All right, cool.
I've been labeled a psycho or lunatic at some times, but overall I've just been told that I am out of my mind. The stage that's serving me a problem, so I'm serving my time. But if you look deep inside, you'll see I've committed no crime. And now everyone I meet is gonna look at me differently, but there's not much of a change. I've always been looked at wickedly, looking crazy just because I wear my heart on my sleeve. Nowadays I see that it's something that makes me unique, like a tattoo I've got on my arms and my legs. Pretty soon you'll think I'm weird for not having them on my face. And even though the norms are changing almost every